Hi everybody, got another hopefully interesting comparison video with this one. So this is Stalker 2 on PC compared with Cyberpunk 2077. So you can have a look at the different sorts of graphics, and also for me to posit the argument that actually if you really like Cyberpunk 2077, I think you'll really like Stalker 2. And if you really like Stalker 2, I think you'll like Cyberpunk 2077. So one of the big concepts that's shared between both of these games is the idea of the immersive world, where you're almost like a secondary character to what's going on. So, you know, in Cyberpunk you've got Night City, and you've got all the cars going around, and you've got the people wandering around, and they're going about their day, and you get things like car chases and crime happening. Maybe not in the way that we were promised before it came out, and maybe not even in the way that something like GTA 5 can achieve, but it's still pretty good. And then you kind of doing your quest and your side quest, and often the fun part in Cyberpunk is the side quest. It's the emergent gameplay that happens when you're going off the beaten path, and the same is absolutely true of Stalker 2. Now, in the Stalker universe and in the Stalker games, they make a point of they call it A-life, the idea that as you're moving through the zone, the mutant animals that are there and all the different factions that are there are interacting with each other and having firefights and getting ambushed and kind of bumping into each other. So there's all this ambient activity that's happening apart from what which is nothing to do with you. You can kind of get involved if you want, but that is totally up to you. And I think that's why you'll like both of them. And then with Stalker 2 you've got the main story missions that you can follow through. You've got lots of side quests that you can take on, but you can just like in Cyberpunk 2077, you can just wander off and start discovering things. The RPG element is probably a little bit higher in Cyberpunk 2077 with the way that you gear up your armor on your clothes and on your weapons, but there is quite an aspect of that in Stalker 2 as well. The idea of getting weapons, and you get upgrades to your weapons to make them better, get better armor, and you can apply better upgrades as well. And although they're set, Cyberpunk 2077 is set in the reasonably far future, and Stalker 2 is kind of set, I think it's around about 2012, I think, don't quote me on that though. They are a lot more similar than you think. And actually, just thinking about this now, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should do one of these videos about GTA 5 and Stalker 2. These fantastic worlds. These are some of my favourite games. If you take, say, something like DayZ and take that to one side, or Armour, the kind of that sort of style of game. DayZ being the survival simulator, and Armour being kind of the shooter simulator. These games where you do have, like GTA 5, like Cyberpunk 27, like Stalker, where you're going into this simulation of a world in which you're having an adventure in, but maybe other stuff that's happening isn't dependent on you, and you can just be a spectator quite a lot of the time and seeing what's going on. So there we go, that's my little hint and tip for the day. If you've never considered Cyberpunk 2077 and you're a Stalker fan, you should, and vice versa. But what do you think? Put your questions in the comments down below, and of course I'll see you again soon.